the axial flow velocity remains same at 120 meters per second and the mean blade speed is 275 meters per second. Calculate the polytropic efficiency and the power, and if you want we can add the other things also. If we want calculate the blade angles beta 1 and beta 2, and take for example, take it as the R is equal to 50%. That's the one extra thing we are trying to add it.
Excuse me, sir.
Right. Yeah.
So
Tell
can
me.
you accept the request of Aniket Biradar, sir?
Every time this guy clearly told this guy to be on time. I'm not getting anything.
I just tell him to send you a request.
I clearly told him to be on time.
Sure,
This
sir.
guy joins at 10:10 and he comes and he disturbs the whole class.
I'll tell him to be on time for next time.
Every now and then this guy. And why the number of students are very less actually, 14. Huh? So yesterday we had a discussion with the data department. Clearly they told that online classes and next week we are going to have the quiz. So just pass on the message to others. So we'll have an online quiz. I am going to conduct that quiz online. That means I'll make everyone to attend. I want everyone to attend. If there is a very genuine issue only, I will consider. Otherwise, you have to take up the online quiz. I am going to give the 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever is there, you have to take it. Now, this guy, I didn't receive any requests, so I am continuing with my class. Fine. So, this is what we have. The overall pressure ratio of a 6-stage axial flow compressor is 6. So, what is given? Data, that is, pressure ratio is 6, and the isentropic efficiency is 92%, which is 0.92, and mass flow rate it is 4.5 kg per second, and the pressure P1 is 100, and the axial flow velocity remains constant, that is Vf, which is Vf1 and Vf2, that is the same, which is 120 meters per second, and equal to 275 meters per second. This is what they are given. What we are supposed to find? To find A, the polytropic efficiency, this is eta P, and B, the power produced, that is P, that is mass flow rate by specific work done multiplied by mass flow rate, you will get the power. Then C, added something else, that is extra, that is beta 1 and beta 2. These are the blade angles that I am trying to do, because I am trying to draw the velocity triangles. Here the blade angles are not given. Let's use that. Let's also find that. So what is the first and foremost thing we try to do here is actually we will try to draw the corresponding TS diagram or HS diagram. Let's try to draw the TS diagram for this. So as there are 6 stages, I'll be having 7 pressures. So this is for P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. Just trying to draw that. So as there are 7 pressures, and if it is completely isentropic, it looks something like this. So it will be completing. So its pressure is a straight line. So all are pressures. So P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. Fine. Now I have 1, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 5 dash, 6 dash, 7. Now I'm going to execute a actual compression. Let it be some green color. So this will be my actual compression. So this is not a straight line, it is slightly a curved little bit. And this will be the actual this is my actual thing. Okay, now I have the pressure P7. So this is my actual thing. So it will be touching here. So now if I try to draw the actual points, this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now if at each and every point, if I try to have the corresponding isentropic, this will be 2 to 3 dash, a straight line, so that I'll get 3 double dash. Then if I try to draw this particular thing, a straight line here, so I'll be getting 4 double dash, then 4 to here. If I draw a straight line, it will be 5 double dash, then this is 6 double dash, and if I try to do that, this is 7 double dash. So how many stages are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 stages. If I try to represent a corresponding TS diagram, it should be something like this. Now let's draw the corresponding, this being an axial flow compressor. I need to draw first I will draw the individual velocity triangle, then I will try to combine it, just so that we get the uniform. So this being the first problem, I will try to do it at one go. So we do have so this is the profile of that particular wave, which is opened at the mean diameter, and let me draw the blade. So we do have blade, something like this, and your blade. Okay, this is my blade, and if you look at it, this is my suction, and this is my this is my pressure side, and this is my pressure side, and this is the minus is my suction side. So as the pressure is getting built up, actually this will be my direction of rotation. Okay, now let's draw the inlet velocity triangle. So this, if my VR is almost tangent to this particular thing, this is my VR1, and the fluid may be entering at some velocity, to that this will be my corresponding V1, and you have a common U because it is on the mean diameter. This will be my U. So U1, U both are same here. Now if I try to resolve my V component, I'll be getting like this. So this will be my VF1. This will be my VW1. Fine, this will be my VW1. So this will be my U. So this is my inlet velocity triangle. This is my alpha 1. This is my beta 1. So now if I try to draw the velocity triangle at the exit, my exit velocity triangle will be something like this. Fine, this will go in this direction. Fine, this will go in this direction. This will be my corresponding VR2. Then I have my V2. This is my V2. And here you have to be careful that my U's are same. That is U1 and U2 both are same. This will be my corresponding U. Okay. And then I have the, this is my VF. This is exactly perpendicular. VF2. And this is my BW2. And this will be my beta 2, and this is my alpha 2. I got all my velocity triangles on axial flow for an axial flow machine. So now one, actually if I call this as inlet velocity triangles at 1, this is outlet velocity triangle. So 1 is the corresponding low pressure side for the compressor, and 2 corresponds to high pressure side for the compressor. Now, is it possible? See, as I have the, my U remains, as my U remains same, so I can draw the combined velocity triangle. What I'm going to do actually, I will draw a combined velocity triangle such that like this. So with the common U like this. Fine. Then I will redraw the, this is my V, this is my V1, and then I can draw the corresponding, this is my VR1, so that this is my alpha 1, this is my beta 1. That's the combined velocity for inlet conditions. Now what about for exit condition? It is the same velocity. Fine. Now this particular component, this thing, I'm going to circle that. This one I can draw from this particular point. I'll be drawing from that particular point as VR1, sorry, VR2. So it goes as VR2, like this. It goes as VR2. Then this particular V2, what I'm circling, that I will join from this particular point to get my V2. So now this is my alpha 2 and this is my beta. So this will be your combined velocity triangle. Now at any given point, say for example, if I want to draw the VF1 and VF2, so if I draw this particular thing, this is my VF1 and this will be my VW1. Similarly, if I draw a vertical line, this will be my VF2 and this will be by VW2 in this direction. Look at this direction. So I can draw a combined velocity here. So maybe I have not drawn to the scale. So VF1 and VF2 are same. Maybe after the class I'll redraw this and send it to you, upload it. VF1 is equal to VF. So this should be this is how you're supposed to draw a combined. So this is a combined velocity triangle with common base as your blade velocity u. So I can draw the individual velocity triangles, what I have shown as to the right hand side of your TS diagram, or I can draw the combined velocity. So you can draw either one of the, either you can draw the combined velocity triangle or you can draw the individual velocity triangle for axial flow machines. Fine. This is about the TS diagram and velocity triangles. Now we'll go for your what they have asked to solve in your problem statement. The first thing they're supposed to solve is the polytropic efficiency. The first and the foremost thing they have asked you to solve is the polytropic efficiency. So if you want to solve the polytropic efficiency, so I need to calculate the individual temperatures. So they are given only P1 and T1, and they are given some efficiency and all, isentropic efficiency and all. Using this data, isentropic efficiency, and they are given the pressure ratio. So using these components, I should be able to, in between efficiency, in between pressures, I need to calculate. It's something like the pressure ratio is, so they are given the pressure overall pressure ratio, that is the overall pressure ratio, that is your total pressure ratio, we call it as, it is PRT. So this is PTR, so it's 6 actually. So now I need to individually calculate. So P1 is given, P2 I need to calculate, P3. So now what is the stage pressure ratio, which will be P2 by P1, P3 by P2, P4 by P3, P4 by P4, P6 by P5, P7 by P6. That is called as stage pressure ratio, which is not given. What is there given is the total pressure ratio, which is PTR. So now total pressure ratio, that is PTR, or total pressure ratio, is equal to your individual pressure ratios. It can be corresponding, that is the last pressure ratio divided by the initial pressure. So P7 by P1 to the power of number of stages. So this is what they are given. So the stage pressure, so I can find the stage pressure ratio. This is what I indicate is the formula for the stage pressure ratio, that is PR, is given by your, so what is the total pressure ratio, or this total pressure ratio can be your final pressure also sometimes. Say for example, this can be an exit pressure. Say for example, 7th stage pressure, whatever it, 6 bar, whatever it may be, if they give. So I can put that particular thing as total pressure ratio divided by P1, so where M is the number of stages. So this is a simple formula. So then if I substitute in this particular formula the stage pressure, this is called as stage pressure ratio, PR is equal to 6 by 1 whole to the power of 1 upon 6. It is 6 to the power of 1 upon 6. So I am getting around 1.35. So now, what is the stage pressure ratio? Already I have defined. This is P2 by P1, P3 by P2, P4 by P3, P5 by P4, P6 by P5, and P7 by P6. P7 by P6. So what are these actually? All these are, So look at this. How many stages? First stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, and sixth stage. Now, from the thermodynamics, already we know that we have this equation for an isentropic, can be compression or expansion, what are isentropic process I can do, that is, this is general formula. If I go, so T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. So T2 is the higher pressure and 1 is the lower one. So P2 is the higher pressure. So higher temperature by lower temperature is equal to higher pressure by lower pressure to the power of gamma by gamma. Now let us try to calculate for each and every stage. So if I consider for first stage, so T2 dash by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma, or I can write T2 dash is equal to T1 into P2 by P1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. So if I substitute, so what is the value of T1 they are given? It is 302 into P2 by P1, it is already we have calculated, which is 1.35 whole to the power of 1.4 minus 1 by 1. So here one advantage here is actually now P2 by P1, P3 by P2, everything is 1.35. So I can easily calculate 1.35 whole to the power of 0.4 by 1.4. You just calculate and save in your calculator. Just keep multiplying by corresponding T1, T2, T3 and all. Easily you can calculate the corresponding 3 dash, T4 dash, T5 dash. It's easy for you. So that's why I'm showing that in my memory 1.35 to the power of 0.4 by 1.4. So it's easy for me to do the calculations. So 302 into that particular, if I do that, I will end up with my T2 dash as 329 Kelvin. Now, we know that the isentropic efficiency is given by your isentropic compression, that is Cp into T2 dash minus T1 divided by Cp into T2 minus T1. Cp is common, so I'm just cancelling. I'm writing only in terms of temperatures. So isentropic efficiency, which remains constant for all the process. So it is 92%, which is given, and T2 dash just now you calculated, which is 329 minus 301 is 2 divided by T2 minus 302. So if I do a multiply, maybe cross multiplication, that is T2 minus 309, if I take the left hand side, 329 minus 327, 27 by 0.92 plus 302. If I do that, I'll end up with E2, which is 331.35 Kelvin, which is greater than your T2 dash. I can verify it on my TS diagram. Fine. So one advantage here is actually this in this particular problem is I know this. See, this is the particular thing calculation, that is 1.35 to the power of 0.4 by 1.4. I can just calculate that and keep it in my calculator as in the memory. So if I what is the 3 dash? This 1.35 to the power of 0.4 divided by 1.4 into T2. Then use isentropic efficiency, calculate your T3. So it's easy for me. So I can easily calculate. So I will just show for second stage, and then for the third stage and all, I won't write the formula. Just I will calculate that particular thing and I will try to write the values. So if I do it for second stage. So what is the formula? It is actually T3 dash by T2 is equal to P3 by P2 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma, or T3 dash is equal to T2 into P3 by P2 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. Or I can put, what is my T2? It is 331.35 into 1.35 whole to the power of 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4. If I do that, I'll end up at T3 dash is equal to 361 Kelvin. Now repeat the same thing for my T3 to calculate my T3. So if I calculate it actually, so this will be the isentropic efficiency is equal to T3 dash minus T2 divided by T3 minus T2. So we'll end up with 0.92 is equal to 361 minus 331.35 divided by your T3 minus 331.35. If I do that, I will end up at T3. So which is found to be 363.78 Kelvin. So similarly, I can calculate for each and every stage. So I have to do the same thing. So what I'm doing is I'm just writing these values. You can just verify this. So for the third stage, if I do that, I will end up with T4 dash is equal to 396 Kelvin and
Excuse me,
T4 is,
sir.
yeah, tell me.
Sir, isn't it T4 double dash?
No, it's not T4 double, sorry, T4
Double dash
double
and
dash.
T3 double dash. It's not
Okay.
single dash.
Oh, fine, fine, fine. T4 double dash. Okay, fine, fine. Then it is T2 dash. T2 dash is fine. Yeah, T3 double. From second stage onwards, it's T3 double dash. Yeah, T3
Yes.
double dash. Yes. Okay, this is T4 double dash and corresponding T4. Yeah, thank you. Because T1 dash and all, I have taken it on the one single stage. Yeah, fine. T4 is equal to 398.7 Kelvin. And if I do it for fourth stage, so this will be T5 double dash is equal to, I have done this calculation, so just I am writing the values, you can verify it. So T5 is equal to 434 Kelvin. Then for the fifth stage is T6 double dash is equal to 473 Kelvin and your T6 is equal to 476.4 Kelvin. You can run it up to either 2 decimals or 3 decimals. So for my sixth stage it is T7 double dash is equal to 519 Kelvin and my actual temperature is 522.7 Kelvin. For each and everything, the simple formula for all those things, I will write is for all these things, what are the formula I used actually? For all those things, what are the formulas? I have used T high double dash by T low, that is divided by PH by PL. H is high pressure, H is the higher value, L is the lower value, divided by gamma minus 1, and the isentropic efficiency is equal to TH double dash minus T low divided by TH minus Tn. This is the formula I have used to calculate the above value. So use this formula and try to verify. Okay. Once you have found the temperatures, once you have found this temperature, see, your polytropic efficiency remains same throughout the compressor. So once you know for one of the things, it's easy. But we are supposed to find the power actually. That's why we have to calculate all these temperatures. So to calculate the polytropic efficiency, so it's given by already. I think yesterday it's also called as, I think few books they call this as stage also, which is also the same. Stage efficiency is given by already yesterday. I have written this formula and we have derived this in the class. Log of your P2 by P1, that is the pressure ratio, divided by log of T2 by T1. Okay. Now all the values we know. So 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4 into log of, that is 1. P2 by P1 is 1.35, and just now we calculated T2 by T1 and all. So this log of 331.35, 331.35 divided by 302. So if I try to calculate it, I am getting the polytropic efficiency as 92.45%. It's 9.925 or 9245. You can round it off to 92.45 or 92.5%. This is my polytropic efficiency. Now we have calculated all these temperatures: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7. This will help in finding your actual work done for the compressor. Okay. So, and multiply by mass flow rate will give the power. So the second thing that we are supposed to calculate is the power. So to do that, specific work done per unit mass is equal to Cp into T2 minus T1 for the first stage plus T3 minus T2 for the second stage, then T3 minus T4 minus T3 for the third stage, then T5 minus T4 for the fourth stage, plus T6 minus T5 for the fifth stage, and T7 minus T6 for the T6th stage. So this will give you a specific, or I'll underline this is for first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, sixth stage. This problem, if it comes in the examination, this should be at least for 12 marks or 15 marks. Fine. This is for maximum we can go for 6 stages. That's what we can calculate in an hour. It takes at least 30 minutes or 35 minutes to solve. Fine. Now what is the value of Cp? So it is 1.005. If you keep this value in kilojoules, your specific power will directly get it in kilojoules. Or if you directly substitute 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3, you will be getting in joules per kg. So multiply by, so that I can get it in terms of, so this will be T2 is 331.35 minus T1 is 302. Fine. Plus your T3 is 359.85 minus your T2. T2 is 331. T2 is actually calculated. No? T2 is 331.35. 331.35. Fine. Next, plus these are all actual temperatures. Look at this. These are all actual temperatures. Then T4 398.7 minus your T3, which is, so T3 is T63. So it is This 363. This is 363.78. I put 363.78. I put T3 double dash. Okay, plus your T5. T5 is 434 minus 398.7 plus T6, which is 476.38 minus 434. You have to be very careful in calculating this particular number. It's a lengthy one. So T7 is 522.7 minus 476.38. Okay, if we do this calculation, so you may end up with 197.25 kilojoules per. You can just verify this. So this number, when I have done using my calculator, I got 197.25. Just verify this number. So if I want the power, actually, if I want a power, so the power P is equal to mass flow rate into W by M. So what is my mass flow rate? They are given it as 4.5 kg per second into 197.25. If I do that, it is coming, I am getting around 887.63 kilojoules per second. That is kilowatts is the power I am getting. This is the power value what I am getting. So all the things we have done. So we are supposed to calculate the polytropic efficiency. Fine. And we are supposed to calculate the power requirement. Now, an extra thing I told, is it possible for us to find the corresponding beta angles? If I want to have these beta angles, actually, I have to consider the corresponding velocity triangles. Okay. So consider these velocity triangles and you can find the corresponding beta angle. How we can do that? Okay. So now if I consider the Vf, which is 120 meters per second, and U is 275. Okay, U is 275 and V is U is 275 and Vf is 120 meters per second. So Vf1 and Vf2 both are same. Now they are not given alpha 1, all those things and all. So you substitute that, and if I want to calculate beta 1, so tan beta 1, what is the thing? It is Vf divided by U minus Vw1. Okay. Suppose if I want to calculate that, actually, then I need to calculate the corresponding Vw1. I need it. So how can I calculate Vw1? So what is my Vf? Vf is nothing but. So this is a little bit indirect kind of a problem. What is Vf? Vf is equal to V1 sin alpha 1, and Vw1 is equal to your V sin alpha 1. I don't know the value of alphas here. So I don't know the value of alpha. So this, if you want to calculate the same problem, if I want to calculate beta 1 and beta 2, then I have to make some assumption whether the alpha 1, that is the flow, if flow into the axial flow composite is 18 degrees or 20 degrees, if I do that, then I'll be able to calculate my Vw1. So once I get my Vw1, so U minus Vw1, I can calculate the beta 1. Fine. And then if you want to calculate beta 2, what should I do? So Vf2, I know the value of Vf1 is equal to Vf2, and U remain the same. Once again, there also U minus Vw2. Fine. U minus Vw2. What is your alpha 2? So what is your corresponding alpha 2? Alpha 2 also I need to. So my or if you want to calculate your beta 2, so if you want to alpha 2 is something like it's exiting at. That means I can assume that alpha 1 and alpha 2 both are same. The fluid enters at some 20 degrees and exits at some 20 degrees. That's the flow angles. I can easily find the corresponding VW2s, VW1 and VW2, and find the beta 1 and beta 2. That's an indirect thing which I'm asking you people to do. It's an extra thing. Sometimes they might ask, this is an extra thing. For this, I want you people to try. Assume alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2 is equal to 20 degrees to find it. It's an extra thing. So which is not in the numerical, original numerical. So just as we are drawing the velocity triangles for this actually. So this being a first problem. So from the velocity triangle, I want people to calculate the corresponding beta 1 and beta 2 for the given alpha 1 and alpha 2. Is that clear? Right. Then I think we can go to the next problem and solve the next problem. I think that's a bit short and it doesn't take, because fourth problem I took is actually a bit a lengthy one. That's why I took that particular problem. So we'll go to the next problem, which is the fifth problem. So if I try to read the problem, the conditions of the air at the entry of an axial flow compressor stage are 100 kilonewton per meter square and 300 Kelvin. The air angles are beta 1 dash is 51 degrees and your beta 2 is 10 degrees, and the corresponding alpha 1 and alpha 2 is equal to 8 degrees. The mean diameters, so the mean diameter and the peripheral speed are 0.5 and 150 meters per second. The mass flow rate through the stage is 30 kg per second. The work done factor is 0.95 and the mechanical efficiency is 90%. Assuming an isentropic stage efficiency of 85%, determine the blade height at the entry, the stage pressure ratio, and power required to drive the stage. So this is the problem statement. Let us write the data. Okay, so they have given P1 is equal to 100 kilonewton per meter square and T1 is equal to 300 Kelvin. See, the air angles is there given. They are not given the corresponding. So they are given. This is a problem statement. They are not given the blade angles. These are air angles. Don't get confused with the blade angles. These are the air angles. I will draw the velocity triangle. I'll show you what are these air angles. Where these air angles are there. Fine. So beta 1 dash, I call that as beta 1 dash as 51 degrees and beta 2 dash as 10 degrees. Fine. And the corresponding alpha 1 dash and alpha 2 dash as 8 degrees. So all these are air angles. Fine. And dash, what I'm showing is a dash, alpha 1 dash and alpha 2 dash. The mean diameter and the peripheral speed R, the mean diameter is D. So there is only one particular D. So it is 0.5 meters. That is dm. If I write it as dm, it is 0.5 meters. And the peripheral speed, that is U, which is 150 meters per second respectively. And they have given the mass flow rate, which is 30 kg per second, and the work done factor, that is lambda, hope you remember, which is 0.95, and the mechanical efficiency is 95%, which is 0.95, and the isentropic efficiency is 85%, which is 0.85. What we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find A, that is the blade height at the entry. Then the second one, the stage pressure ratio. The third one, the power requirement to drive the stage. Okay, so this being an air compressor, I can take gamma is equal to 1.4. So R is equal to 287. So joules per kg degree Kelvin, and Cp is equal to 1.005 kilojoules per kg degree Kelvin. So these are the common assumptions which remain the same. Now, so density, I have been telling you that how to calculate the density when you have this particular thing. Usually, maybe in the previous problems, I have told that either you can calculate the density to be 1.18 through calculation, or you can take 1.2 if you are making an assumption. So what I will do is I will go and I have to redraw this velocity triangle. Instead of spending that particular time, I will just copy this, the same thing what I have drawn. Fine. I have drawn the velocity triangle for an axial flow machine. I'll use the same thing over here. Fine. I'll use the same thing over here. And look at this. What are the corresponding angles they are given? Beta 1 dash. Where is my beta 1 dash? This is the beta 1 dash, and this is the beta 2 dash. That is the air angle. This is my alpha 1 dash. This is my alpha 2 dash. So these are called as air angles. This is the velocity triangle at inlet, fine, and this is the velocity triangle at exit. Fine, I have the velocity triangle at inlet and velocity triangle at exit. Once you have this velocity triangle, okay, from the inlet velocity triangle, look at this. From the inlet velocity triangle, this is the derivation is there. So we need to triangle. People, you can try this at home. Actually, we have this formula: U by VF. U by VF is equal to tan alpha dash plus tan beta 1 dash. Alpha 1 dash plus tan beta 1 dash. Okay. What is tan alpha 1 dash? What is tan beta 1 dash if I take it? What is tan alpha 1 dash? If I take it, tan alpha 1 dash, if I take it, so this is exactly 90 degrees. What is my tan alpha? It is opposite side by. So this is corresponding your, what is VF1 divided C, your VW1 by your VF1. Fine. And what will be your tan beta 1 dash? Okay, see, tan alpha 1 is equal to VF1 by VW. So your alpha 1 dash, if I take it, it is VW1 by your corresponding VF1. Fine. What is my tan beta 1 dash? It is opposite is your U minus VW1 divided by your VF1. Fine. Just add this, you will end up with this particular formula. So VW1 and VW just simply they cancel out. You will end up at this particular. So you need not do that. It's not a big derivation. So just I'm taking that and trying to, because I need to calculate the corresponding VF. So that's why I would run this actually. So your VF is equal to just little bit of cross multiplication, that is U divided by tan alpha 1 dash plus tan beta 1 dash. So if I substitute it, U they are given as 150 divided by, so alpha 1 dash is tan 8 degrees plus, so tan beta 1 dash is 51 degrees. If I substitute, I am getting around 109 meters per second as my VF. So this is VF1. So which is equal to VF1 is equal to VF2. Okay. Now, the first thing is I have to find the mass flow rate. That is, you have to find. So, what is the mass flow rate? So, the mass flow rate. The mass flow rate. I will take another 3 minutes or 4 minutes to complete this particular problem. Just give me some time. So, mass flow rate is given by your rho into area is phi into d into b1, okay, into corresponding vf, okay, vf or whatever is this, fine. So the mass flow rate they given it as already it is 30. The density I have told I can take it as 1.18 from the calculations. So into pi into the mean diameter is 0.5, okay, into B1 is supposed I have to calculate, and just now we calculated the corresponding VF. So I am getting my B1 as, so 150 mmr 0.15 meters. Okay. So we have to calculate the corresponding. So there are some formulas which are very, very important here. So what is the static temperature rise? So you have this formula. This also you can find it using the tan beta 1 dash and tan beta 2 dash. You can find this. So your static the temperature rise in temperature. I want you people to look into this. How did you get at this particular formula? It is easy. You can just I will directly write the formula. I want you people to try this. I will discuss on this how we get it. So is equal to, so you have your power factor U into Vf. You have to go a little bit dig into the derivations what we have already done. Hope you got it. Work done, Cp, all those things. We have already T2 by T1, all the formulas you know. Just I will leave this tan beta 1 dash minus tan beta 2 dash. See, just like your formula, whatever I told, no, tan alpha 1 dash and tan beta 1 dash. So I want you people to check this formula. It easily you can derive it. Check this, can be easily derived. Easily you can derive it. Easily you can derive it. I don't have time to derive this formula, but you can do that. So for this particular problem, you have to do that. So if I substitute everything, so due to time factor, I am not deriving it. So into 150 into 109 divided by 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3 into tan, sorry, this is not beta, this is beta 2 dash is how much? 10 degrees Celsius, beta 2 dash. So tan beta 1 dash is 51 minus tan 10 degrees. So what you have to do, take tan beta 1 dash and tan beta 2 dash, substitute this and simplify this. Simplify this and look at where we can substitute for this delta, where we are going to get this. Go back and see this. So we have done this particular problem. Hope you remember that work done is given by mCp into T2 minus T1. That's the clue. Work done is given by mCp into T2 minus T1. Now for that particular formula, multiply by your lambda, that is your work done factor, you will get this. So that's the clue I am giving you. Please work on it. So from this I'll get the corresponding static pressure as 16.37 degrees Celsius or degree Kelvin, whatever it, because this is delta T. And from this I can find, we have the static pressure formula, which is 1 plus your efficiency into T2 minus T1. This already we have derived this, divided by T1 whole to the power of gamma by gamma minus 1. So already we have this formula, already we have derived this, 0.85 into 16.37 1.37. So divided by 300 Kelvin into 1.4 divided by 1.4 minus 1. If I do that, I'll get my stage pressure ratio as 1.17. Then what is my power requirement? The last one. So what will be my power requirement? The power requirement is actually mass flow rate into your work done divided by, this is my actual power. If I call it as P actual power, this is m dot into Cp into delta T static divided by your, see what is the delta T static? Don't get confused with something else. This is T2 minus T1. Okay, this is T2 minus T1. So if I substitute, what is my mass flow rate, which is 30, they are given. Cp is 1.005. So if I leave it in terms of 10 to the power of 3 as it is, I'll be getting in terms of kilowatts into 16.37 divided by 0.9. So I'll end up with my actual power, which is 548.4 kilowatts. It looks little complicated for you guys, this particular formulas and all. But these formulas, that's why I told that I'll be taking a little bit of complicated problems. And this formulas has to, because most of the times I've seen in some of the axial flow compressors, instead of giving the blade angles or flow angles, they will give in terms of the air angles. So what are those air angles? So one of the problem I've taken. So air angles are, so corresponding to alpha 1, I have the alpha 1 dash. Corresponding to beta 1, I have my beta 1 dash. Corresponding to beta 2, I have my beta 2 dash. Corresponding to alpha 2, I have my alpha 2 dash. Or you should be very careful in identifying this corresponding air angle. So at inlet and at exit, if you're able to identify that, you can easily solve the problem. That's how this particular problem works. If there are any questions, I can take them.